Do I care? I care about Machida, even though I shouldn't, because I do have disdain for people that do and have tested positive and taken for steroids. Of course, he was suspended. He, he paid his debt to society, as they say, but even still, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
That aside, I will say, Lyoto Machida is one of the few and true great martial artists that compete in the octagon. Of course, these days there's a lot of mixed martial artists. There's a lot of modern day gladiators, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But Lyoto was one of the true elitist martial artists, one of the real guys that was a specialist in karate. Of course, he brought that to the octagon. They called it the Machida era. They called it the karate era, all that type of stuff. So, I do respect him from that. Even this week at the open workouts, he was doing a karate kata, as opposed to, just hitting the pads like anybody does, which was cool. It was cool, but even still, as I say, I do have a bad taste in my mouth from the steroid thing. But I'm interested to see him fight. Of course, he came back from his steroid suspension, and he was knocked out by Derek Brunson, who fought and lost last week. Talking of steroids, you see that thing about Anderson Silva. Of course, Anderson Silva was, unfortunately... he tested positive for steroids, and that meant some poor mug had to step up against Kelvin Gastelum at short notice. I honestly don't know what kind of fucking moron would step up at short notice like that and fly to China.
Young killer going overseas in China, fighting at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Who would do that?
Only a true fucking animal would do that, probably.
Have to be a total badass. Yeah. Total badass. I'm assuming somewhat good looking, very fast witted. These would be the qualities I would imagine a person like that would have, to take such a chance, such a risk, to do it for the people as well. To do it for the people, which would then be unheralded by the masses and forgotten about very quickly. But still, that's why one would do that, I'm assuming. But still, I digress. Anderson Silva tested positive. Yes, he did. And the news came out today because, of course, like anybody that tests positive for steroids, they always like to, deny. Nobody fucking comes clean, do they? They'll say, yep, you got me. I was taking steroids. They all deny.
Has anybody ever done that? Has anybody ever just been like, what are you going to do?
If someone did that, I would truly respect them if they just went, you got me.
Well,
yeah, we're taking steroids. I'm in a fist fight, for crying out loud. What do you think?
Well, you would think
I'd
at
actually
one point,
respect the honesty.
You would think at some point somebody would go like, all right, well, look, everybody is fucking doing it. I'm just trying to keep up, bitch. It is what it is,
Yes. Have you seen how hard some of these guys hit? Hold on, let's have a look. Anderson Silva. So anyway, he's looking at an 8-year suspension now.
8-year suspension. Wow.
8 years. Let's have. Yeah, did you read the notes I sent you?
Yeah.
Did you even look at them? Did you glance at them, Lewis?
First of all, you've been more engaged in this show than you've ever been in your entire life. And now before every show, he actually sends me notes, which is incredible. And I did read the notes. He tested positive for 2 separate substances in his recent use of a drug test.
Testosterone. That doesn't sound good. It sounds like something from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
It's a synthetic testosterone. Sounds like, up there in the level of cheating. That sounds high. Synthetic testosterone. And what else? There was another one. There was 2 things. Anyway, so basically what was going on, if I'm not mistaken, was what's his face was denying it. And I think USADA have come back and basically said, listen, we're not buying that bullshit. We've checked. We've looked into it. We know what you tested positive for. It was a synthetic form of testosterone, and you got to pay the piper. And because it's his second offence, he's looking at 8 years. First time should be 4, but it wasn't. And second time supposed to be 8. Now,
do you think it's
still? Go on.
Do you think it's 8 years is fair? Because that means that is when you hear people get, in fact, we're going to talk about it later, that Dr. Nassar, they give him 140 years in jail. It reminds me of that where they go, it's like, no, you're going to die, so why even go that far? It's like Anderson Silva is completely done. If they suspend him for 3 years, there's no way he's coming back.
This is his second offence, Lewis. I feel like you're leaning to the sides of it's too much. Bearing in mind, you can cause serious injury to people. You could kill somebody. And then I would assume that if you had a really good prosecution attorney, if you killed somebody whilst in the octagon under the influence of steroids, I don't know, would you be facing a murder charge? I don't know, probably not. But still, you see where I'm leaning towards. Now, Anderson Silva, unfortunately, this is the great Anderson Silva that we're talking about because he was great. He was amazing. He was inspirational to everybody. When I fought Anderson Silva and I beat Anderson Silva, that was, for me, one of my greatest victories and one of the highlights of my career as a mixed martial artist. But he did test positive. It's as simple as that. And last time he tested positive for multiple things as well. There was a form of, steroid or testosterone or something like that. There was a diuretic. There were several things. I think it was 3 or 4 things that he tested positive for. Did his year. Now, bearing in mind, this was prior to to USADA running the show. So his defense team are saying that this isn't a second offense. His defense team are saying, well, this last time he tested positive was prior to USADA running the ship, so to speak. So now it's only one offense. So, I mean, that doesn't really, stand up to me. What do you say to that, Lewis?
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. I'm just saying 8 years is pretty excessive. His management, I guess, said that if he gets a 2-year ban, he's going to retire. So that's that. But also, I heard that they're trying to make...
Poor Anderson Silva. I'm sorry, you test positive for steroids. He's looking at 8 years. Then, unfortunately, you got to go.
Well, I guess they're also trying to do the a boxing match between him and Roy Jones Jr. Yeah.
Which is interesting because he spoke about that for a long time. And again, I, for one, would have liked to have seen that. But to me, that just seems like a guy looking for a cash grab. It really does. I mean...
With the suspension...
He's looking at an 8-year suspension, Lewis. And I think he should get 8 years. Even if he gets 4 years, I think that's Anderson fucked. It is. It's Anderson Silva fucked, and it's the end of his career. He had a good career. He had a lot of money. He wowed a lot of people. He impressed a lot of people. He also let down a lot of people, and I think that's fair to say.
If he got suspended from USADA for 8 years, would he still be able to compete against Roy Jones Jr. in boxing? I'm assuming probably yes, right? It's a separate license.
I don't know. It depends on the athletic commissions. It depends on the athletic commissions because ultimately the athletic commissions, they run everything. And if you put it on in an area which is sanctioned by an athletic commission, I think to a certain degree, they have to, recognize the ban imposed by USADA. Now, he could go out there and maybe fight in a country where they don't have athletic commissions. He could fight on an Indian reservation. There's ways around it, but generally, I would have thought that the athletic commissions would uphold the sanctions put in place by said commission.
And what about Roy Jones Jr. is all but retired as well, right? I know he did that charity thing recently. I don't think it would matter. They could just do it in Brazil. There's no athletic commission. It could be worth a lot of money on pay-per-view. Why not? Especially if you're not trying to fight again under an athletic commission, fuck it, suspending you for 20 years.
So which is it, Lewis? Is he suspended or does he just, sounds to me like you're in favor of seeing Anderson Silva fight again. Do you care for the well-being of fighters? Do you give a damn? Do you just say, fuck it, everybody cheat, and if you get caught, so what, fight in Brazil? Where do you stand on this issue, Lewis?
I say, you know what, dude, 40 and above, let them take whatever they want. These are old men. What are you going to do?
Well, yeah, you're right. Okay.
What are you going to It's an old man. Come on. At one point, Father Time starts taking over. He needs a little bit of extra fucking, I don't know. Look, as long as he's not fighting, in mixed martial arts, fuck it. I'd love to see that. If he fought Roy Jones Jr., you don't want to watch that fight happen?
I would, and I would pay money to see it. I mean, how much money I'd pay these days, I don't know, but I'd pay a little something to see it, I guess, yeah. I wouldn't pay $60 on pay-per-view, but, if it was happening down the street from me, I would pop down and see it and give him $20 for a ticket. Roy Jones Jr., I grappled Chael Sonnen a couple of years ago. Remember that on like a live pay-per-view thing called YourShow.tv. And Roy Jones Jr. was the main event. Roy Jones Jr. boxed a fan, can you believe? And lo and behold, would you believe it? The fan got knocked out. Crazy. But still, you got to admire that fan's courage. But still, Roy Jones, my point is, looked great. He looked amazing. He toyed with the guy a little bit. He slipped some shots. He bobbed and weaved. Of course, ultimately, in the second round, he knocked him out cold. But, Roy still can knock out fans at the very least.
Do you remember that show, Bully Beatdown?
I do, very much so.
It was fucking
awesome. With Jason Miller.
Yeah, it was such a terrible show. It wasn't UFC guys. It was all like guys that were outside of the UFC because UFC probably wouldn't let their guys get involved in it, at the time. But it was obviously so fake. There was no real bullies. But I always think about that because you hear about... What'd you say?
How do you know there was no real bullies?
Because it was just all... You could tell it's fake acting. It's just, I've been on fucking TV. Once you've been behind the fucking scenes...
I mean, everything on TV isn't real and sometimes there's editing. There is Jason Mayhem Miller. My God.
Yeah.
Jason Mayhem Miller, God bless that guy. Jason, if you're watching this, I highly doubt you are, but I hope you're doing well, because talk about a guy that had kind of a mental breakdown live before the world. You know what I mean? That guy, whew,
well, you hear about like guys challenging fighters and like coming to their gym and talking shit. Has that ever happened with you? Like somebody been like, I'll come down to your fucking gym and punch you